Hello there guys, Tap18 here, coming at you with another video. Supreme Duo brand, of course. Now this one is aimed at Screen Rant, who falls into the category of pop culture media, and Screen Rant is a big part of that. So let's ease into their articles with a video from their YouTube channel. Screen Rant's videos have always, at best, been knockoff Watch Mojo videos. In this video, they try to pretend that they're fans of the source material and pointed out plot holes in Dragon Ball Z. Wholly original content here. To make this more fun, let's play a game. I'll look at each point, compare it to the Wikipedia definition of a plot hole, and then go yay or nay. As usual, we're skipping the intro, and we'll let them get to their first point.
Change her personality with a sneeze. She was, of course, Launch, and was a pretty major character in the early arcs, but she totally disappeared from the timeline, save for some flashbacks in Z. So what happened to her? Akira Toriyama stated he actually forgot about her, but he has since never utilized her again. What gives? Unlike every other power in all of Dragon Ball. Another curious aspect about Launch is that her power is
I'm curious if this even counts as a plot hole. Of course, I'll go back to the definition to decide, as I just explained. Lunch simply stops appearing. It could easily be explained by the character's tendency to just do whatever she wants. Her leaving after the 23rd Budokai, while untimely, could just be her way of moving on. Not to mention, I'm curious if throughout this video, filler counts, because she was in Saijin Saga filler. Looking back at our definition, this is neither inconsistent nor an error in the plot, as Lunch is never mentioned again. So, I'm not going to give this one a pass. Definitely nay.
introduced the androids. One of them, number 20, is actually Dr. Gero, the creator of the Red Ribbon Army and the androids themselves. You may remember the Red Ribbon Army from the original Dragon Ball sagas, but if you do, you'll remember that Dr. Gero wasn't the creator of the army or the androids.
This one's easy to explain. Dr. Flap was an anime-only creation, a filler character. He's not canon. So Dr. Gero is still the real creator of the artificial humans. At worst, you could call this a plot hole in the original Z anime only, as this isn't a problem in the manga or Kai. But you could also just use the Daizenshuu explanation that maybe Flap worked with Gero on Ader and the program as a whole. Nay.
Goku, you know very well the giant gorilla monster lurks about during the full moon.
Not to worry, my boy. We can fix it so this little nuisance of yours never grows back.
Part of the early lore in Dragon Ball was the fact that the Saiyans came with tails. They were removed, but it was shown that they would grow back in time. Goku's tail has grown back numerous times, and Gohan's has even come back. But as time went on, it just seems that Toriyama has forgotten about the tail thing, as Goku and Gohan's tails have stopped appearing, and we've never seen Trunks, Goten, Bula, or Pan with a tail.
Now, there's no promise that a Saiyajin's tail would grow back when removed. Goku's grew back out of sheer luck, and as it would seem at the time. Kami said Goku's tail would not come back after he removed it. Being the god of Earth and all, I think he knew what he was doing. For Gohan, his tail did not grow back after the Saiyajin saga, where it is removed twice, unless you count the films like Tree of Might and Cooler's Revenge, where Gohan has a tail regardless. Anyway, this isn't really a plot hole because there is no guarantee a tail will grow back if removed. One could surmise that maybe there's a two-tail limit where you only get two tails in your lifetime, or like Daizenshuu surmises, tails only grow back when a Saiyajin is in great danger. That's why Goten, Trunks, Bra, and Pan don't have tails. They simply weren't born with them. The tail is a surprisingly recessive trait, and the manga even acknowledges this by having Krillin ask where Trunks' tail is. Also, Toriyama doesn't like drawing tails. So really, they're not there because he's lazy. Nay.
It was quite the spectacle as there was flying and superhuman strength. But the Z Fighters stopped competing in tournaments, and this allowed for Mr. Satan to become champion by the time the Cell games happened. But no one seemed to have remembered any of the over-the-top matches from the past. Everyone thinks the videos are doctored or acts like they never witnessed the fights.
Not entirely true. If you pay attention to the Buu saga in the manga, Piccolo has a way to cover up and uses the name Majuni in order to enter the tournament, because the world does indeed remember Piccolo dying out. Mutually, Goku is often recognized for his exploits as a teenager in the earlier Budokais. The only thing that's perpetuated as fake is the Cell games. Nay.
Giant ape whenever he looked at the full moon and cause insane amounts of destruction. Master Roshi decided to blow the moon up to prevent this from happening at any World Martial Arts tournament. Kami then eventually restored the moon before it was destroyed again by Piccolo. But the moon came back after that, and we have no idea how it did or who brought it back. The assumption is Kami yet again, but for now, this remains a mystery.
This one I could give you. We're not shown how the moon is restored, but do we really need to see that? We know that Kami can replace the moon, and the threat of the Uzurus are gone. So it could be assumed that that happened. But if we have to see it, then sure, plot hole. Neither nay or yay. I'll give him 50-50 on this one.
That really annoying moment in the Frieza saga where he states he will destroy the planet in 5 minutes only for it to take over 2 hours of show for those 5 minutes to pass? What if there's more to it than that? Time is a construct after all, and we all assumed that he meant 5 minutes of Earth time. But Frieza doesn't come from Earth. For all we know, 5 minutes on his homeworld is 2 hours on Earth, thus making his initial deadline true.
So the plot hole is that the anime fight lasted over 2 hours. But you could say it's not a plot hole because Frieza isn't from Earth, and it could have a different definition of time like how the gods in Dragon Ball Super do. I didn't realize this went from naming plot holes to theorizing. I better go put my game theory hat on. Anyway, this is simple. That was cinematic timing. There's nothing else to it. Fattening.
What did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000!
We all know and love the classic line, "It's over 9,000!" That was Goku's power level during the Saiyan arc, which saw Nappa and Vegeta act as villains. It was actually a mistranslation from the original version, and has since been changed in multiple Funimation dubs. But from that point on, the power levels only went up, with Frieza's being at around 1,000,000 and Goku's original Super Saiyan outmatching that. Now that we're beyond Super Saiyan Blue, the power levels are estimated to be up in the quintillions or pentillions. So how is it that a simple punch doesn't blow up an entire planet?
Alright, so the Frieza point isn't wrong, but you're massively lowballing. Frieza's second form was stated to have a power level of over 1,000,000, but Frieza's final form at 100% was 120 million, and Goku was at 150 million. So you're not wrong, just way, way off. Also, the idea that they could easily destroy planets isn't forgotten. If you reread the Cell Saga, Goku has to aim his Kamehameha at the sky to avoid destroying the Earth. Vegeta has to do a similar feat with his final flash, and Gohan is told to forget the damage he did to the Earth during his clash with Cell. As for why this isn't much of a problem in later installments of the series where they're much stronger, it's called area of effect. It's where the intense power is limited to a specific range or restricted to only affecting a certain area. So while they're hitting with the power to destroy planets, it's only aimed at their opponent. Also, in the manga, the fight between Beerus and Chappa casually destroyed a planet. Nay.
Fast and loose with the mythical items. The power of wishes and of the dragons themselves are only as strong as their makers. And we all know the Namekian creators aren't that strong. So if a whole planet can be restored, why can't the Namekians do that?
I don't get this one. Are you asking why Namekians can't restore the planets themselves, or why they can't destroy them? I'm not really getting this point. So comment below if that made any sense to you. Because I think it's a little sad when a media company can't convey a message articulately. Utterly disgusting. Or that's what I would have said if your intentions hadn't just dawned on me. What you're referring to is the fact that the dragon is capable of performing feats of magic, but incapable of performing feats of strength. This is very simple to explain. So because the dragon is magic, it's able to perform feats that Dende or Kami would not normally be able to perform due to said magic, such as creating a planet. However, due to the strength restrictions of Shenlong's current creator, he cannot kill or harm beings that surpass Dende. This is why he cannot turn number 17 and number 18 back into humans, and this is why he cannot kill Vegeta and Nappa during the Saiyan saga. So, of course, with you not understanding the fact that these are dragons and manipulated obviously by retcons, you get another failing grade. Nay.
Train and seeing them perform their signature moves. But how much easier would things be if they taught each other their own moves? Seriously, if Goku taught everyone how to use instant transmission, things would be a little simpler.
Not really a plot hole. Just you wondering why they don't share techniques. It's never stated that they have to or that they should. It'd be reasonable for them to do so, But you should also keep in mind that a lot of these characters are prideful and probably want to make it with their own techniques. That being said, the Solar Flare was a technique made by Tien, and almost all the Z fighters have used it. Rosh's Kamehameha was obviously picked up by a majority of the group. Trunks uses them on Senko, Final Flash, and Galacticon. It's possible they can learn these techniques just by viewing them, or simply choose not to use them. So next.
Series off as one of the two main villains. Since then, Vegeta has slowly grown from villain to hero, but a lot of the Z fighters still showed him resentment over the years. But why? He actually didn't do anything evil. Unlike Nappa, Vegeta didn't kill anyone, didn't blow up any cities, and he's the one who ultimately killed Nappa. I mean, he did sit there and watch Nappa do it all and kind of laughed a bunch.
Yes, he did do that. He allowed Nappa to do whatever he pleased, and ordered the deaths of the Z fighters. He was in charge. He's very to blame for everything that happened. This is like getting Hitler off the hook because he didn't personally gas every Jew. Nay.
In the franchise. At first, we were told by Raditz the planet was destroyed by a comet. Then it was revealed that Frieza was the one who destroyed it. When Raditz tells Goku this story, he mentions the planet was destroyed 3 years ago. But Frieza destroyed the planet the day Goku left, and Goku is 20-something by the time Frieza's arc starts. So where on Earth does Raditz get 3 years from? Maybe they're Vegeta years.
The idea that Raditz was lied to and doesn't know the truth is very likely. Vegeta was lied to as well, and simply didn't believe it. We could keep in mind that the anime's version of events are canon. DB-, despite being garbage, is. So Planet Vegeta was not destroyed the day Goku was born, but much later. Goku was sent to Earth as a toddler, rather than an infant. There's a plot hole with Gine saying she would tell Raditz what happened to Goku, but that's not the one you focused on here, so nay.
Goku escapes Namek's destruction, he tells Trunks that he found a Saiyan pod and used that to escape instead of Frieza's ship. But wait, this doesn't line up with what we saw in the past. Instead, we saw Goku watching the destruction happen from the planet. So we got two very different versions of the same event. Or maybe he just moved really fast.
Yes, he did just move really fast. Also, that was Genyu's ship he used, not a Saiyajin pod. Next.
Vegeta and Goku ended up working on a way to get the Namekian Dragon Balls to restore Earth and its population. But why hasn't planet wishing been a thing before? Planet Namek was destroyed, Maz was Planet Vegeta, home of the Saiyans.
It's because it was never necessary before. If you notice, King Kai found a planet similar to Namek, making wishing for a new planet irrelevant. So why waste the power creating another Namek when they could just move to a planet similar to it? Vegeta wasn't wished back for similar reasons. Only 7 Saiyajins remain, and only one, you could argue, would be interested in the planet, and that's Vegeta. Nay.
They get sent to the spirit realm, and from there, an interpretation of heaven and hell. When Goku went there, he was quickly told to train with King Kai instead of Raditz. But we also learned that Vegeta and Frieza are stronger than King Kai, so what's stopping all these dead villains from overthrowing the Kais?
Well, we should keep in mind that villains keeping their bodies in hell is an anime-only feature. In the manga, only those who are chosen can retain their bodies so they can train in the afterlife. We've seen revolts in hell before in the anime, and they've been quelled by warriors trained by Kaido, who did surpass the dead villains, unlike their teachers. Not to mention there's Daikaio and the Supreme Kai to keep villains in check, again, in the anime. Nay.
Other universes living parallel to the one the main arc takes place in. But if there are all these amazing fighters out there in the multiverse, how come none of them came to Earth's aid during the Kid Buu crisis? Surely the Kais could have pleaded to Whis or even Beerus if they dared, or hire Hit to help.
Why would the other universes involve themselves in one planet's affair? Kid Buu was a Universe 7 problem, and as such there is no reason for a Kaioshin and Hakaishin of other universes to step in. Whis probably wouldn't help because it's not his duty. Shin could have awoken Beerus, but there's no guarantee he would help, as shown in the Super anime when he's awake and is shown to be nonchalant toward the fate of Earth. And Shin couldn't hire Hit because he didn't know he existed until the Universe 6 arc. Nay.
Need oxygen to survive. Goku is given this piece of advice from King Kai as he learns that Frieza himself can survive the vacuum of space while he wouldn't. But later on, we see Vegeta transforming into a Super Saiyan on an asteroid, Goku and Beerus have a battle outside Earth's atmosphere, and Bardock fights Frieza in deep space in a movie tie-in.
This one I could kinda give you, with a few exceptions. Vegeta's ascension was filler, not canon. Mutually, Bardock the father of Goku isn't canon either. Beerus and Goku could fight in space because Super Saiyan God has a transformation, gave Goku the ability to survive in the vacuum of space, thanks to his divine heat, I assume. But I can admit the anime is inconsistent on this to some point. So, weak yay.
And its creatures will serve this galaxy equally well as dust.
Super kicks off with a bang with the introduction of Beerus. He's a pretty sour individual who blows up planets when he feels just a little bit angry. He defeats Goku with relative ease and is generally seen as the most powerful being in the universe. He even stated he's the reason there's no dinosaurs on Earth. But wait, in Dragon Ball Super we see a dinosaur chasing Trunks and Gohan. Not only that, but dinosaurs are prevalent in Dragon Ball and in Z.
I know that line was in the film. No idea if it was in the anime. So you can't have this one. Another weak yay.
Ball Z, future Trunks emerged from the hyperbolic time chamber with longer hair, while Vegeta's remains the same. Turns out the hair length of any pure-blooded Saiyan never changes. Seeing as Trunks is half Saiyan, his is free to grow out. But in Super, when Goku and Vegeta go into the time chamber, they emerge with beards.
I think it's clear that the facial hair doesn't count. As Goku and Vegeta mentioned, they just didn't have time to clean up. Unless you think King Vegeta was born with his goatee. Next,
Saiyans to ascend to the level of Super Saiyan God. Thankfully, half Saiyans work in this ritual, and so does the unborn Pan. The ritual states that you need 6 righteous Saiyans to do this task, but there's just one problem. There's just no way that Vegeta counts as righteous. The number of atrocities the prince has done over the years sort of puts a big blemish on his track record.
while they go out of their way in the anime to address this, it's clear that by DB standards Vegeta is righteous. While he committed mass genocide in the past, he's clearly changed. As shown in the Buu arc, where they only wish back good people who died during the Buu arc, and Vegeta is revived. Don't hate the playa, hate the game. Nay.
On Earth, it doesn't take long before he completely owns Goku in their first battle. Angry that events have ruined their party, Bulma begins yelling at Beerus, only to be slapped by the god. But Bulma, who has had 0 days of combat training her whole life, somehow didn't need to go to the hospital for broken bones after getting a strong hit from a destruction god. Even luckier is that Bulma didn't just die.
Beerus was holding back. No biggie. Nay.
Ball Z ended with a peaceful saga that teased a martial arts tournament on the horizon. Then Super came along. Curiously though, it seemed to question whether or not the final moments of Z ever happened. The epilogue takes place a few years after the Majin Buu saga and sees everyone living in peace. But in Super, there's no mention of what happened to the tournament.
That's because Super takes place between the 10-year time skip and the Buu arc. There's a plot hole there, but DBS not acknowledging the events that haven't happened yet is nay.
Going Super Saiyan was not something all Saiyans can do, and you had to work incredibly hard to achieve it. Vegeta's training took quite a while, and he was full of rage while doing it. But in Super, all that doesn't seem to matter when it comes to Kale, Caulifla, and Cabba. Once they learn how to transform, they not only pick it up almost immediately, but without any of the anguish and suffering that came with it. Maybe Universe 6 Saiyans are just easier.
I wanted to give you this one so bad, but Cabba ascended in the traditional manner, and arguably so did Kale. Caulifla is the only massive outlier. Oh, and Goten and Trunks he forgot to mention. Weak, nay.
Kind of guy who prides himself on family and legacy. But in a Dragon Ball movie, we learned that Vegeta has a brother named Torbil. You'd think that a prince who is proud of his heritage and angry that there are so few Saiyans left would have mentioned a brother before. What's even crazier is that in Super, he's entirely absent again, aside from a quick mention in Battle of Gods.
That's because Torbil was cast out due to his low battle power. Vegeta, for the majority of the series, was probably embarrassed to be related to him. Vegeta prides himself on strength more than anything else. This is why he kills Nappa for failing to defeat Goku and being unable to battle, even though by doing so he brought down the number of remaining Saiyans in the universe. So Vegeta keeping everyone in the dark about Torbil makes sense due to his lack of overall relevance and Vegeta's natural disinterest in his weakling brother. Nay.
One of the most well-known sagas in all of Dragon Ball is the Buu saga, and despite its epic narrative, there's one confusing plot hole in the early portions of the massive arc. Majin Buu's power consists of eating people by turning them into candy, but the show plays fast and loose with exactly who dies and who doesn't from this. Case in point, Vegeta was able to retain all of his powers, but Dabura and Buu himself were not.
Vegeta was also far more powerful and had the greatest ki control of any character in Dragon Ball Z. Nay.
common wishes in all of Dragon Ball history is to revive the dead, but the show is never consistent on where the revived soul goes. Sometimes they go right back to the place they died, like Vegeta on Namek, but other times King Yama's palace and an escort from Baba or Kami is the path home.
You can never destroy what I am, friend.
Well, to be fair, there's an inconsistency with people being revived from the dead in the placement of their souls, but you didn't exactly word it properly. That aside, the reason Baba is used is only to guide the dead who are using their one day on Earth, and even then, she's not really bound to do anything. All King Yama does is tell the dead where to go, and to some degree permit those who want to use their one day, as well as returning their body to them. So, unenthusiastic, nay. Glad that was over. Now, as far as Screen Rant goes, this is actually one of the better things they produced, which is really, really sad when you think about it. I am really glad that their video is finally over. And because we were counting the yays and the nays, I think it'll be a little bit fun if I put the total tally on the screen before you, and you really let that sink in. So, look at it, enjoy, and just contemplate that a media outlet who presumably would have reporters, researchers, people who should just generally overall fact check, couldn't even determine an accurate number of plot holes within a series full of them. Now, this just goes with a grander scheme that I am trying to portray to you on this channel, that media outlets within the pop culture, specifically comic book sphere, have no idea what they're talking about, and only really care about pushing narratives. Now, there is the occasional article, usually from CBR, that has actual value, but in general, these are just people engaging in quick Google searches and pretending to be part of fandoms of which they have no care. But their true colors will be unveiled one video at a time. That was the end of their video, and it is the subsequent end of mine. I would like to thank you all for watching, and because we're no longer talking about them, there's no need to be DB Taff anymore. I can just slip back into my normal persona. I would like to once again thank everyone for watching this video. I hope you would be sure to like, comment, favorite, share, and subscribe if you're new. Be sure to hit that notification bell because YouTube sucks and you will not see the videos unless you hit the bell. But you think that's why you subscribe. But this video is not about YouTube's poor business practices. I am going to be signing out now. I hope you all have a great day. This has been Taff 108 with the Screen Rant channel. I'll catch you guys later.